This is what I was telling you was going to happen before it happened. All right. We took a short trade. I passed this one on to members. How's it going, fellow traders? Magic Trader here. And this is your latest CFTC data that was reported on August 27, 2024. Let's begin, as we always do, by first examining the latest data and looking at a snapshot of that data to see what has been the biggest affecting assets over the last week. So here's the change column. This is what I like to look at because it gives us a good indication of what was the biggest shifts that took place over the past week. And the biggest number that I see there is the USDCAD. Now, if you remember, I was mentioning that USDCAD was reaching near maximum size, and I believe they created a new maximum number after that, and we were telling our members that we're going to see a sell-off. There's no other way that price is going to go forward than a sell-off. They're reaching maximum numbers, and they're going to have to take profits on those positions. And lo and behold, look at that. They took profits all right to the tune of negative 115,000. That is humongous, okay? The next big number I see is a positive number for the euro, 83,000. And everything else is, you know, nothing crazy. But we're going to dive into those and take a look at what we find. All right, welcome back. Welcome back. Nice to have everybody back with me. So let's start by examining gold. So gold is one that I've been talking about for a while. And one of the key things that I've been mentioning is how we are reaching near a maximum size. And so when we reach near maximum size, I start to get a little concerned about thinking about going and trading in that direction. So look at these positions. We reached recently about 350,000, and then we saw a sell-off take place. And now we reached 355,000 and then a sell-off taking place. All-time maximum long positions is 408. Okay, so yes. Does that mean price can go higher? Yes. Obviously it can, okay? But what I'm saying is that when you're near your max, you got to be very careful, okay? Because looking at price, it can drop any moment now. When we're looking at how this structure has been built, okay? This was aggressive and strong. This is when they were aggressively accumulating long positions, but they were not near max. This is after near max, and this is after near max. Look at the slant on this one. It's not aggressive. It's much more horizontal in its movement. So I'm concerned about that because now that we're reaching near maximum size, this is not giving me a strong indication that we're going to continue going higher, okay? Another thing I want to point out is if we look at the coloration of the cells, like we like to do, we can see that some neutral tones have come into the coloration here. We were very super aggressive green here, meaning very bullish. And now some neutral came in. Yeah, just recently, this 1 week, we get a little bit more bullish. But look at long positions. They cut them from 355 to 343. The only reason why this went bullish is because they reduced their shorts from 64 to 48. Okay, I'm not convinced that this is going to be moving much higher in a sustainable way. It can go a little bit higher, sure, because we haven't reached maximum positions. But in a sustained way, I don't see that happening. So I'm cautious on this one. I'm watching for signals that price is going to be dropping. All right, oil. Let's look. Long positions cooled off, but larger than shorts. Shorts extremely cooled off. So for the longest time, we've had a slight bullish bias on oil, especially after it contacted some significant demand down here. But the thing is, we're not seeing any strong trends. We're not seeing any strong positioning. So we're kind of sitting on the sidelines when it comes to oil. I'm not going to trade oil until I see something very clear in terms of structure, trends, that sort of thing. All right. I'm not seeing that, so I am moving along. Bullish bias, but be very careful with it. US dollar. Okay. So we've been talking about how the US dollar has been a little bit off when comparing it to the other markets, the euro, the pound, the Swiss, the Canadian dollar. It's been a little bit off. But what can we see when we look at the data? Well, let's take a look. They were bearish back here until mid-June. Okay, bearish. And then what's happened ever since? Well, you can see that the sales have turned blue, mostly blue. Okay, that means neutral. They are neutral the dollar. Okay, neutral the dollar. If we look at long positions, what do we see? We see long positions are at 37,000. What's the 13-period average? 31. So are they over their average size for long positions? Yes, they are. Look at shorts, 18,000. 13-period average, 15,000. Are they over the regular size or average size for shorts? Yes, they are. All right. So what has happened on the charts? We saw a push to the downside. Remember what I was talking about with supply being up here and demand being down here and prices in the middle of the ocean? Yeah, it hasn't come to dock yet. And there's winds blowing north and there's winds blowing south. So price can go in any direction. It's not something that's giving us a clear indication, okay? The data isn't giving us a clear indication, and the supply and demand dynamics on the higher time frame charts aren't giving us a clear indication of what's taking place. To get a better indication of what is taking place, you'd have to look at the lower time frame charts, and that's something that we share with our members. Aussie. All right, let's take a look at the Aussie. What do we see here? Well, I look at the long column and I see that they were aggressive back in July, right? And that was right here, aggressive with longs. And then they closed them off. And then they've been adding them back again at 81,000. That's recently, okay? That's right here as price is rallying up. Now let's look at shorts. What do we see with shorts? Shorts were aggressive back here in June, July, as price was declining, and they took some off at the lows, and then they started adding them back in again here at the highs. So what's going on? What do you make of this? Well, I'll tell you what I see. I see this column here. Okay, this is what I see. I see that they used to be bearish up until a certain point, up until about this point here. Okay, and that's June. And ever since then, it's been more neutral. Yeah, a tinge of bearishness, but it's more neutral. It's not a good time to be engaging in the Aussie for long-term positions because we're not seeing any stability here in terms of their positions, and we're not seeing any type of long-term stability in terms of the higher time frame structures. So short-term moves, we'd have to be looking at the lower time frame charts. All right, so now let's take a look at the USCAD. So remember what I was telling you. USCAD entered into a massive supply area. Institutions were at 219,000, right? That was a new maximum large size. They reduced their positions to 203, 200, 188. And now look at the new position, 129,000. That's all profit taking, guys. This is what I was telling you was going to happen before it happened. All right. We took a short trade. I passed this one on to members. I also had mentioned it on Telegram. So took a short trade. I gave all the details to members, and we profited on the move to the downside. All right. So right now they're in profit taking mode. I wouldn't be trading the USCAD. US Swiss, we see it push to the downside as well. Offloading of long positions. If you take a look at longs, you can see 56, 47, 42, and so forth. Another thing I'll mention is, you remember what happened with the US dollar Japanese yen? It moved first, and then the US CAD dropped. Remember I told you institutions will focus on one position and then later on focus on the other position, and that's exactly what ended up taking place there. Shorts are very cooled off, not much going on with long positions. You take a look at the coloration of the cells, they're getting a little bit more neutral, so it's one that I am holding off on. Now let's take a look at the euro. Euro, look at that, 218,000. Look at long positions. That's one of the largest positions they've had in all this time, okay? All of 2004 at least. 218,000. That's as price was pushing upwards back into an area of supply here. Okay, so we have supply being contacted again. Short positions are being reduced, 155 down to 125. Coloration of the cells, we've been talking about this for quite some time, how over the long period of time it's been neutral. We're getting a little bit of bullishness here in this last couple cells, but nothing significant. Price action is not giving me anything sustainable on the higher time frame charts, so I would be cautious opening up longer term positions with the euro. Pound. Same thing with the pound. We see that they were aggressive with longs. They took some off. Now they're aggressive again. They're not as aggressive as what they were before. So it's a different dynamic than what's playing out on the euro. Euro longs are at a much higher position than they were just recently. Here, they are not. Okay, if we look at the coloration of the cells, you can see that they are bullish. But they're starting to increase their shorts, 54, 58, 62. This could be an indication of a preparation of a move to the downside. I will tell you that there is a supply area right above price that we're just about to hit. And so if price was to go a little bit higher, or not even, maybe it's already starting to be affected by the supply up there. But what I'm watching for is to see if they're going to start closing off their long positions. And if they do, that could fuel a move to the downside. So I'd be very cautious with that one. US dollar, Japanese yen. So the big move to the downside that I was talking about from profit taking on their long positions. Now they're starting to add to their short positions, 87, 88. Recently, they just took off some, but still, the coloration of the cells is telling you that they are getting bearish here, okay? Yes, it's only been 3 weeks of bearishness, and yes, we just finished dropping quite significantly, so we want to see that this is going to be something sustainable. So we'll be watching. We just experienced a big drop. You don't want to be shorting after a big drop, so we'll be watching the lower time frame charts for some type of setup going forward. Kiwi, bearish on the way up. Look at that. Shorts being increased. They just took profits on long positions, which fueled a move to the downside. Okay, this is something that we've been seeing across the board with the profit taking. And let's look at the coloration of the cells here. Neutral, bearish, bullish, neutral, bearish. Okay, any sustainable move here? Not really. Okay, so long-term direction, very difficult to tell because of that. All right, ladies and gents, let's show you one more, shall we? Let's look at the S&P 500. We are bullish the S&P 500. Why is that? Because buying is taking place from down here, okay? Buying is taking place. Now, if we look at the coloration of the cells of the longs and the shorts, what we can see is that they are neutral with longs. Here's my tool. They are neutral with longs, and they are neutral with shorts, okay? So nothing very promising here. The charts are telling me bullish, but the positions aren't the greatest. Yes, shorts are higher, 384,000, and longs are only 302,000, but longs are just about average for their average size over the last 13 periods, and shorts are above average size, but price is not dropping, all right? Overall, we're bullish. The data is not really supporting a bullish move. So over time, I'd like to see something a little bit more bullish being presented on the charts. That is for sure. All right, ladies and gents, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this session. And until next time, you take care of yourself. And if you want more information about how we do our trading and you want to learn from us, that'd be a great idea. www.whiteoakfx.com. Thanks. Until next time, you take care, and we'll talk to you later. So long.